Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching In the Heights, directed by John M. Chu, the same director as Crazy Rich Asians, and produced and also co-starring Lin-Manuel Miranda, who you might remember from Hamilton. Now, when it comes to big the big movie musicals, it seems like one of those genres that has since been kind of disgraced in recent years, and no doubt part and due to Cats, which even though it barely came out a little over a year and a half ago, it's still considered one of the worst movie musicals of all time. And I can safely say that if there's any movie that's going to revive the movie musical, it's definitely this one. Full of culture, full of memorable songs, and full of great performances, In the Heights may be a little light on plot, but you'll hardly care when you go through the film. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story stars Usnavi, played by Anthony Ramos, and he's a guy who's working at a convenience store who's originally from the Dominican Republic. He's saving up in order to head back to the Dominican Republic, but as he goes through that, we follow several stories about him and his friends who live in Washington Heights in New York. And that's all I'll say about the story without spoiling anything. Basically, the story is less of a linear narrative and more about the stories of all these people that live in Washington Heights, how they connect to Usnavi, and how they all make this whole place feel like one big community. And I really love stories like that because not only does it let us know who the individual characters are, but it lets us see how they all, live together and how they all work as a community to celebrate, to have fun, to enrich each other's lives. It's definitely a very positive movie, even with a few dramatic scenes near the middle, particularly during the blackout scene, which might be the highest bit of tension the film has, especially for Usnavi's abuela. But when it comes to the rest of the film, it's basically bright, charming, and full of songs that are very high energy and full of amazing choreography. I can imagine it was pretty much the same choreography as was done in the original theater performance, but it translates to film really, really well, especially when it comes to the fast-paced editing and the fact that the shots linger long enough to let us see all the great choreographers and how their dances increase the impact of all the musical performances. Especially since the effects in the film are really, really good. There are effects for things like extra elements in the background, and one particularly great scene where two actors have to essentially go onto a sideways set and looks like they're walking or running on the side of a building. It's a really seamless effect that I really don't think I've seen in a musical done that well before. And even though the film is a little over 2 hours and 20 minutes long, it feels a lot shorter, mainly because so much of the runtime is filled with those songs that you'll never get out of your head. Then again, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda. A lot of his songs don't leave your head after one viewing. I felt that way with Moana, I felt that way with Hamilton, and you bet I felt the same way about this. And John M. Chu's direction actually does fit the kinetic energy of the film pretty well. He had a similar directing style with Crazy Rich Asians, and even though that one wasn't a musical, it works really well for these kinds of movies. I think he has a really good future, is what I'm trying to say. I don't really have that many bad things to say about it in that respect. As long as you go in knowing it's less about the story and more about the experience, you'll definitely have a really fun time. So that's why I'm going to give In the Heights a 9.5 out of 10. One of the best movies so far this year. See you next time.